Toto Riina, a journey from the pinnacle of crime to decline. Salvatore Toto Riina's life story is one of brutality and power. Born on November 16, 1930, in Corleone, Sicily, a town infamous for its deep ties to the Mafia, Riina emerged from poverty to become one of Italy's most feared crime bosses, ruthlessly dominating the Sicilian Mafia for over 40 years. This story of his rise and eventual fall unfolds with bloodshed, betrayal, and the remarkable endurance of a man who seemed unstoppable, all the while leaving a dark, indelible mark on Italy. Riina's early life was marked by hardship. His father, Giovanni Riina, was a tenant farmer struggling to survive in post-war Sicily. Salvatore, as the eldest son, witnessed firsthand the limited opportunities available and how the Mafia offered an alternative route to power and financial gain. At 17, Salvatore committed his first murder, a brutal initiation sanctioned by his father, who ordered him to strangle a kidnapped businessman. This act marked the teenager's entrance into the Cosa Nostra, setting him on a course that would lead to the top of the organization and infamy throughout Italy and beyond. Over the next several years, Riina became a prominent figure in the Sicilian underworld, notorious for his ruthless tactics. He quickly developed a reputation as the Beast, La Belva, a nickname that reflected his remorselessness. By the late 1960s, he had aligned himself with Luciano Leggio, another rising power in Cosa Nostra, and together, they eliminated rivals, consolidating their control over the organization. Riina's violent rise involved numerous assassinations and betrayals, which helped him become the head of Cosa Nostra's most violent faction, based in Corleone. In the 1970s, Riina assumed control of Cosa Nostra and expanded its influence across Sicily. Under his command, the organization transformed from a regional mafia into a highly organized criminal empire with extensive involvement in heroin trafficking, extortion, and infiltration into legitimate businesses. Riina's ambition extended to controlling all mafia families on the island, a goal he pursued by ordering a campaign of violence that included the murder of hundreds of mafia members, government officials, and civilians. One of his most notable acts of brutality was the launch of the Second Mafia War in the early 1980s, a violent struggle for control within the Cosa Nostra. This war saw the systematic elimination of Riina's opponents, including the powerful Palermo bosses Stefano Bontate and Salvatore Inzerillo. The deaths of Bontate and Inzerillo marked the beginning of a bloody purge, with Riina ordering the killing of anyone connected to his rivals, including family members and friends. His willingness to eradicate entire bloodlines to prevent retaliation was unprecedented and underscored his ruthless approach to maintaining control. Beyond his internal purges, Riina targeted the Italian state itself, waging an all-out war against officials and anyone who posed a threat to his power. Judges Giovanni Falcone and Paolo Borsellino were at the forefront of the Italian government's campaign against organized crime, leading high-profile investigations and prosecutions of Cosa Nostra members. Falcone, in particular, played a pivotal role in orchestrating the Maxi trial, a groundbreaking legal proceeding that prosecuted over 450 mafia members. This trial not only exposed the mafia's inner workings, but also challenged its very existence. In retaliation, Riina orchestrated two of the most shocking assassinations in Italian history. On May 23, 1992, he ordered a car bomb on a highway near Palermo, targeting Judge Giovanni Falcone. As Falcone's convoy passed, the bomb exploded, killing the judge, his wife, and 3 bodyguards. This attack sent shockwaves through Italy, symbolizing the mafia's disdain for the law and its willingness to attack the state directly. Just 2 months later, on July 19, 1992, Judge Paolo Borsellino met a similar fate in a car bomb explosion outside his mother's home in Palermo. The murders of Falcone and Borsellino marked a turning point in Italy's fight against the mafia. Public outrage erupted, with mass protests demanding justice. The Italian government responded with unprecedented measures, intensifying their crackdown on organized crime and tightening security around mafia suspects. Riina's strategy of unrestrained violence backfired, as the Falcone and Borsellino murders drew the full force of Italian law enforcement against Cosa Nostra. During his reign, Riina oversaw the expansion of Cosa Nostra's criminal enterprises. The organization grew immensely wealthy through drug trafficking, particularly heroin, smuggled from Turkey through Sicily and onto the United States. Riina managed a sophisticated network that involved bribery, secret routes, and brutal enforcement tactics to secure the organization's profit. The profits from the drug trade fueled his operations, funding both his internal purge of rivals and his war against the state. Riina also led Cosa Nostra into other sectors, including construction and waste management. Through a network of shell companies and by manipulating public contracts, the mafia infiltrated legitimate businesses, amassing illicit wealth and controlling much of Sicily's economy. His system of extortion forced local businesses to pay for protection, making Cosa Nostra's influence nearly inescapable in Sicily. Riina's control of economic and criminal activities rendered Cosa Nostra a powerful, almost invulnerable force, until the backlash against his violent methods began. After years of violent dominance, Riina's empire began to crumble as the Italian state intensified its campaign against organized crime. On January 15, 1993, after decades of evading law enforcement, Salvatore Riina was finally captured in Palermo. His arrest marked a turning point in Italy's fight against Cosa Nostra, as it allowed the government to bring many of his associates to justice. Following his arrest, Riina faced multiple trials and received numerous life sentences for a wide array of charges, including murder, extortion, and drug trafficking. While in prison, Riina attempted to maintain control over Cosa Nostra through messages relayed by his family and loyal associates. However, the Italian government's close surveillance and the defections of key mafia members undermined his authority. Cosa Nostra's influence declined as law enforcement dismantled its structures, infiltrated its operations, and arrested high-ranking members. Riina's once dominant organization was weakened, unable to reclaim its former position in drug trafficking or maintain control over Sicily. In 2017, Riina died at the age of 87 while serving a life sentence in Parma, after years of struggling with cancer. Even during his final days, Riina was unrepentant. He infamously declared that the Italian state would never defeat him, asserting his enduring defiance. Riina's death marked the end of an era for the mafia and symbolized the close of one of Italy's darkest chapters in organized crime. Riina left behind a legacy marred by unimaginable violence, corruption, and a ruthless determination for power. His tactics of widespread assassination, including those of government officials and civilians, left a lasting scar on Italian society. His leadership style set a precedent of violence that contrasted with previous mafia practices, which often avoided direct confrontation with the state. The Italian state, though deeply scarred by Riina's crimes, emerged more resilient, determined to dismantle Cosa Nostra and bring those responsible for the mafia's terror to justice. The Maxi trials that began in 1986, known for prosecuting nearly 500 mafia members, symbolized the Italian government's resolve. These trials exposed the extent of mafia influence, and Riina responded by ordering assassinations and bombings across Italy, attempting to intimidate officials and halt the proceedings. However, Riina's strategy ultimately failed, as his ruthless actions spurred Italy's most comprehensive anti-mafia measures. In the end, Toto Riina's life serves as a cautionary tale, a dark reflection on the allure of power and the depths of human cruelty. His rise to prominence, marked by a blood-soaked path, and his subsequent fall, ending in a prison cell, underscore the inevitable consequences of such unbridled violence and the lengths a society will go to defend itself against terror. The scars left by Riina on Italy's history remain, serving as a somber reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And as always, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.